rely on to develop.
As stressed by President Jammeh in an interview with TV5 after the program, it is energy or no development, or without energy, you are entrenched in poverty. Abdinjai, GRTS.
Farming activities spearheaded by President Jammeh continue to attract volunteers from different parts of the country. One field in Kanilai and another located along the Banjul-Sarakunda highway were the focus of recent voluntary exercises. Abdinjai reports the President Jammeh himself took the lead during a major planting season.
This is Kanilai after a heavy downpour, and this is the President of the Republic leading a major planting exercise at one of his farms. He was soaked and just suffered as much the pain of fasting, but was just the same, a role model and a pioneer. Assisted by a handful of people, he spent the entire Wednesday afternoon planting ginger and a variety of fruit trees, mainly lemon, on a land that once did so well for a different variety of groundnuts. This is how he spent these few days in Kanilai, where he also monitored and supervised activities in his other fields. Lieutenant Colonel Solo Bojang said this is exactly the motivation that drives him and his team of coordinators. Taking one of his usual walks to the farm, he explained in greater detail the segments of this 8-kilometer-long newly cleared area and how President Jammeh guided the team through to this stage.
Right now, where we are standing, I can tell you that this is the place where His Excellency found us on seeding. When we were seeding the groundnuts.
That's that part?
That's that part, that area, where we have the Moroccan variety. But this area is the Philippine variety. When he found us here seeding, that's the very place that he started seeding by himself, and then he advised me to divide the farm into areas. So this area, meaning that this area would take the Philippine groundnut, and I put the
Philippine. What is the local name for the Philippine groundnut? I think it's Burkus.
Yes, it's Burkus. Locally, we call it Burkus.
Okay.
And then in the middle, we put the Moroccan variety. But we first started with the local variety that is locally called chopper. That's the red peanut. It's the one that we started. But Abdullah, what surprises me, His Excellency, when he came up to here, he asked us to mix groundnut with corn. Really, at first, with my seeders, Anine and the others, they all advised me to beg His Excellency not to mix groundnut with corn. But obviously, we can all see now, everybody is definitely surprised, and then it's doing very fine.
It's doing very well.
It's doing very well.
A number of groups have made the trip to Kanilai the past weeks to assist in whatever work available. This team is comprised of volunteers from Tambakunda, Gilanfar, and Siwal, all in the Funyis. And the head of the team has spoken so eloquently on the sense of awareness the President's back to the land policy has done to Gambians. It is dignity and pride, he said, to survive by one's sweat. Even Anina Jammeh and the rest of the team that did the seeding on this land said they are proud to be able to stand before their President today, for everything else has gone so well. But by the end of this interview, bags of the local Wonjo variety were being mixed into the groundnut produce in this vast field. Beauty is the word here. From the groundnut to the maize, this 8-kilometer hectare farm has been seeded and weeded. And amidst high rainfall here, the President has continued to seed and weed, and his efforts have been complemented by a number of volunteers that have turned out to help him here in Kanilai. In Banjul, at his farm at Wadna Beach, volunteers from Nyofele and those he shared time with in the army have turned out to help him. The team now operates under the banner of President Jammeh Badge-Made Solidarity Association, and they share with him the joy of farming and the benefits it holds.
It means we started together since April 1984, and we are still together, and we shall be together forever.
That's the spirit that you take to his farms?
Yes, that's it, because based on in fact, there's an idea that we want to share, that we want to bring up. We want to add something to his name, to call him Chef Professor Dr. Alhaji Yaya Muamgor AJJ Jammeh, because he has Ngor. He has not abandoned his friends, never mind he has risen to that position of prominence. He still maintains us as his batchmates, and really we appreciate that. So we call him Yaya Muamgor Jammeh.
It is much a pastime for them, as it is for the president and the rest of the Gambian community. Bakari Jame, who headed the group from Nyofele, said his team is in high spirit and enjoys what they do. Captain Sen also attested to that fact, saying his men releases that moment shared with the Gambian leader in the military. You know, Captain, this sort of interviews are very rare.
Yeah.
Because you can get people talk about the president in many spheres and angles.
Yeah,
but from your own point of view, how was he in the armed forces?
Well, he was very, very hardworking and focused on, he knew what he wanted. He was quite efficient in all what he did with the others. Well, we were a very smart batch, all of us, but he was definitely one of those who were special. Yes, and he played a leadership role in many areas. Yes, he led many people like the crack unit, military police, and all other things. Wherever there was activity, operations, he really served in a way that he stood prominent. Yes, and everybody really saw that, and he was recognized thus.
I know, sir, that you must have served on the smaller units compared to the units we have now in the Gambian forces. But if you were to compare your badge, the Gambia then in 1984, to the army we have today, what will you tell us?
Well, I think you would have been learning from us. We were a badge that was determined. Every individual among us was really determined. Those who were...
In spite of the fact that we are smaller in number?
Yeah, we are smaller in number, but much more determined. Can't you see what has brought this change of government?
That's what I'm
you see where we are coming from and where he was coming from at the time. If there could be determination, imagine if the numbers were larger. What would have happened? So we should be emulated in hard work, in spirit, in attitude, and in patriotism.
Work is continuing in Kanilai tomorrow Sunday with the Bojang Manga Bajan family, mobilized by the president's mother, Aja Asombi Bojang. The Timothy group from Marrakech Award is also participating. Abinjai, Grts.
Stakeholders in the local film industry and officials of the National Center for Arts and Culture on Saturday converged for the first Congress of Gambian Film Producers. Means of establishing and implementing an effective copyright enforcement system was one of the main items on the agenda. Samuel Burr attended the opening ceremony, and this is his report.
It is the first convergence by a group of local film producers who have tasked themselves with the responsibility of setting up and effectively implementing the copyright enforcement for the local film industry. In the Gambia, the Copyright Act provides for the creation of an autonomous corporate body called the Gambia Collecting Society, which will collect royalties for artists whose works are used by the TV, radio stations, hotels, etc.
In the Gambia, copyright lasts for the entire life of the author, plus 50 years after. So when you create your film, your entire life, and 50 years after you have passed away, you still benefit from copyright protection. It's your life plus 50. So that is why when works are being registered, usually they will ask you your next of kin, so that after you are gone, who will be benefiting from your royalties, who will be benefiting from the copyright protection.
The move is an offshoot of series of consultative meetings between the National Council for Arts and Culture and the creative artist community in a bid to standardize and further develop an industry witnessing a phenomenal influx of young people.
We consider your coming together very timely and important because, among other things, our mandate includes the administration of copyright, which should be very important to you because an effective copyright regime stands to protect your interests, especially your creations as either an artistic or technical producers or technical or executive producers of film.
Film production is believed to be an important component in nation building. Aside from its entertainment value, it has the potential of showcasing a country to the outside world and generating employment opportunities. For a council charged with the preservation, promotion, and development of our cultural values, the role of these local producers should be that which can generate interest in artistic creativity and film production relevant to the country's development aspirations.
Given the adverse effects of Western acculturation in our society today, I am of the opinion that your association is naturally faced